Finding the best home run real estate deals is not just luck. There's a recipe to it all, and I'm going to share the ingredients with you today. A lot of people focus on the wrong things. They're focused on the marketing, on the negotiations, on the sales process. And while these things are necessary to some degree, the most important contributor to the home run deal by far is targeting a product that inherently is more likely to convert at a major discount from market value. So let's spill some secrets to you guys. Consider this your Christmas gift from Uncle Ace. And before we jump into the presents, let's hook you up with some stocking stuffers. How about some free rental property calculators or anything else from the Ace Toolkit store? Just use the coupon code ACEHOLIDAYS, one word, all lowercase, at checkout for any of the sheets you see. It's going to be free for the first 25. The coupon code slot disappears after 25 have been redeemed. So you probably want to pause this video, head over there, get your freebie, then come back and watch the rest. And this does not include the course. The virtual investor's guide is not being given away, but it is if you're serious about getting great deals and investing out of state in particular, 100% remotely. It's probably the best Christmas gift you can get yourself, especially considering it's not very expensive and you're using it to make a very, very large purchase that you could probably do much better at with the right blueprint in front of you. So enough plugs, let's get right to it. 5 key ingredients I got here. We don't need to exhaust this, let's simplify it. Number 1, smaller properties. Houses and duplexes and fourplexes have less competition than 8s, 16s, and 20s. You're not dealing with the institutions, you're dealing with mom and pop investors. And with smaller properties, is a key detail a lot of people don't realize until they get into the business. There's abundance, there's more of them out there. If you're only buying 50-unit apartment buildings and higher, there's not gonna be enough in all the cities that fit your criteria for you to get lucky, right? But if you're dealing with 1s and 2s and 3s, there's a ton of them. So your chances, the numbers game factor comes into play. Your chances of getting a good one increases if you can market efficiently or if you could just scrub Facebook or hunt for deals efficiently, right? So smaller properties. The next factor you want to look for is secondary markets. This is an important ingredient. Less people know about these. Less people are operating outside of the city, right? There are fewer people that are local investors in these secondary markets investing in them compared to in the bigger markets. So there's a little more secrecy to it. They're a little more under the radar, and they're more likely to be in the path of progress, in a state of positive change where people don't fully understand what's going on an hour away that's going to bleed into the market. They're not saturated yet, guys. They have room to grow and they have less competition. Our best deals that we've ever found, like quality properties, they've been in secondary markets. Number 3, markets that are in flux with respect to value. Values are changing rapidly. Why is that important? When a market is currently in a state of value increase, and especially if it was a stigmatized market, low value, not really loved by the locals or by investors before, but it's in this state of positive, rapid change, you have a chance of buying a property that's worth tomorrow's price at yesterday's values much more often. So look for markets where things are changing for the better quickly and recently. They haven't been on the up and up for a very long time, maybe for the past couple of years. There's a solid, substantial reason for you to want to invest here. Obviously, it's still viable. You can manage it. Don't go out to the middle of nowhere and deal with these markets that are worth nearly nothing, that have just increased a bit. But markets in a state of change create opportunities for you as long as they check all the other boxes too. The next detail, cheaper areas. This is a big one. Everyone wants a home run deal in a B or A class area at a major discount. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't get them that often, and we buy hundreds of properties per year. Many of them are resold. I'm not saying I buy and keep 200 properties a year, right? We're a flipping company, but we do a ton of transactions, and the number of times we've found a true B class property for 30, 40, 50% off its as is market value, very minimal. You can play in the C plus range. I'm not saying go straight to the worst neighborhood in town, but if you're willing to deal with working class properties and affordable housing, if you're searching for discounts, that's where you're gonna find them. You're gonna find more landlords that just don't operate the property as well as you can, but you can operate it. It's truly simplified. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And then the 5th ingredient, and the most important ingredient by far, is, did the seller buy it cheap? because when they bought it cheap, think about this. We just came out of the biggest real estate recession we've seen in 100 years and that we'll see for the rest of our lifetime. When a seller bought it cheap, and there's a lot of them out there who did 10, 12, 13 years ago, even 7, 8 years ago, they have meat on the bone to give you. Now, if someone paid maximum market value for a property, they're not going to sell it at a discount. They're counting their pennies. But if someone bought a property, and this has happened a lot, duplexes for 30, 40, 50K that are worth 200 now, 170, 160, whatever it might be, these guys will give you some room if they want to sell the property and they want to have a good experience and choose their buyer and all that stuff. They also, this is an interesting phenomenon, oftentimes don't see the value in spending on their property. Think about it. Someone buys a house for 25 grand that's worth 125 grand today, and it's in decent shape, but they left it at the same rents they've had it renting for since they bought it 10 years ago for that cheap. They weren't real estate investors in the first place, right? They just got in because it was the price of a Toyota Camry or a Honda Civic at the time, right? And now they have a roof coming due, or a tenant moved out and they got paint and floors. Well, they don't see the point of spending 7 on a roof and 12 on the inside. That's 20,000 bucks. They only paid 25 for it. They'd rather sell it, take their profits, maybe sell it to you for 50 or 60. And you can go put in that $20,000 in it, and you've got a good amount of equity built up in it afterwards. Perceived value has a lot to do with how lucky you get on a deal. So let's wrap this all up. The 5 ingredients: smaller properties, secondary markets, that's 2, sorry, I don't know how to count on my fingers. Markets that are in a rapid state of change, so price flux, cheaper areas, and the sellers got it cheap. Those are extremely important. All of these will make it easier for you, maybe a newer or non-institutional or non-corporate investor that doesn't do it in volume like us, to be able to actually get lucky on a deal without having to have all these major acquisitions processes built and put in place. So, someone who can just hop on Facebook Marketplace and get lucky every once in a while doesn't have to have a $20,000 marketing budget. And it's easier to get lucky in those simpler ways when you look for products that have these 5 factors. So get to hunting, guys. Enjoy. Have a great holiday.